All right. Welcome back to another episode of How to Thrive in IT. DJ here. Good to be with you. All right. So, this is a live recording session. So, we're going to get into this. You'll have a whole new intro in just a moment. But I am actively throwing together show notes, which is going to be hilarious given our topic today. But let's just say I'm having some fun and getting myself centered all at the same time. Yeah, it's been a great holiday week and all that stuff. I had people here in the house, and so I'm trying to recover my energy mentally and doing a wonderful job at that. Not so. Anyway, if you're here with me, feel free to say hi, and I'll try and get to questions at the end. But just for those of you that have not been as part of this process before here live with me, I will be doing a brief cut and then a welcome and all of that. One question I have is if this is coming through okay. And so, what I'm going to do here in a moment is just listen in on myself here. And I am not seeing this on YouTube. That's not good. Is this drive? Is this live? Oh, there we go. Okay, we are live. Okay, just confirming. And I've apparently been having some audio issues. The problem is I never know until after the fact. So if you're hearing me right now and everything sounds good, can you let me know? Or if it sounds really bad, can you put me a message in the chat for me so I know? I'm going to actually listen to myself right here. I'm not hearing any distortion. Yeah, here we go. Okay. That's a delay. Oh, here. I am hearing some bad things here. Okay, hang on a second. Hang on a second. I'm going to turn off some noise cancellation that is going on here. I'll give you just a moment. We're going to get this going here. If I can pull this up in time, always fun to do live math, as they call it. So yeah, okay. Maybe I just need to be nice and loud today, as the thing I need to be doing here. So we're gonna hope for the best. If not, it'll just be like the other week when I had to completely re-record anyway. So we'll hope for the best here, and go with it. So I'm going to just take a moment here, and it'll be a brief little silence while I get the intro prepared. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome back to How to Thrive in IT. My name is DJ Eshelman, and it's great to be with you for another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about kind of why it's hard to take a vacation when you're working in IT. We're going to be talking about the challenges that are there, why it is that you seem to be the only one who knows how things work, and nobody else can seem to take that off of you. How you're the only one that's been trained in certain technologies, and no one else seems equipped enough to do it. Or if they try, you always have to kind of push them out of the way and do it anyway. Why every time there's a on-call schedule, it seems like you're the name that comes up. Even if you're not on call, you get calls anyway, so you might as well just be on call. When it comes to taking a vacation, well, hey, maybe that's not going to happen. I know firsthand. When I was not first starting out in IT, this actually took me a while to figure out. So in around 2009, I was on my honeymoon and I got a phone call. Yeah, DJ, how do we get into this server? What's Zen server? Literally, this is something that happened to me. I was at the time caring for, I think, 11 different clients with the organization that I was with. We had 11 clients that I was pretty much solely responsible for. And so if I was ever away, yeah, anything that happened, nobody had any idea how to do anything about it. And so there was a immediate realization that I needed to figure out a way to get better about that. And unfortunately, some things I'm going to be talking about today, some of the challenges came up that prevented that from actually happening. And when I left the company, actually, all the solutions that I had put forward ended up going away because they couldn't find anybody to replace me. And it was really tragic. But yeah, there's that. So, yeah, so I don't want you to be the only one that knows this stuff. So let's kind of get into three solutions that I have today for you that are going to help you get out of those kind of situations. And if you are someone who leads an IT team, this is especially important for you to be listening to, not only for yourself, but also for the team that you lead. And realize that you have some responsibilities to put these things I'm talking about into play. And so do realize that. So, solution number one: document, document, document. Documentations of systems is one thing. It's one thing to have a spreadsheet or a Visio. That's actually not the only thing I'm talking about here. And let's start with why, because that's important. Why would you do this? Why would we document systems? Why would we take the time to do the thing we hate the most, which is to sit down and write about what we already did? It's already done. Why would we need to write about it? It's outside of our nature to do this. But there's a lot of this going on where you have moved on to other things, but you're still the only one that knows what was deployed. There's a lot of scenarios that I see out there, especially when you have a situation where you've been called on to new things and somebody else has to take over for what you did, and they will be bothering you every time they have a question. Someone out there right now is saying, "Oh yeah, that happened to me yesterday or today." It's a common thing when you can't feel like you don't feel like you can ever move forward in your career truly because you always have that thing you did before holding you back. It's always kind of taking your time away from you, and you never really can get free of that unless you leave the company. And then what have you done? Well, you've left them with a gaping hole. It may feel good to you at the time. It may feel like, oh yeah, well, I'm that valuable that they need me that badly. And we're going to talk a little later about some of the psychology of this and what that looks like. But for now, what I'll just say is that if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so the way we get around that is by writing down what we've done. And what I'll tell people all the time is the way we do that is we don't worry about following a formula per se. I do have formulas that I do encourage. We're going to talk about that in a moment when we talk about today's sponsor. But we are going to talk more about telling a story than anything. And the funny thing about that is that most people don't understand that storytelling is something we do all the time. I'm telling stories right now. I've already told you a couple stories, and you are reliving your own story through the things that I'm saying. So when it comes to what to include in documentation, you want to quite literally tell the story. Why did we do this? What was the problem we were solving? What was things like at the time? What was the project that surrounded this thing we did? Sometimes it's more of just a, hey, this problem came up and this is what we did to solve it. Sometimes documentation is literally that simple. As far as the wikis and the how tos out there, a lot of those are just that. In fact, most blog articles that you find out there usually having a story attached to them. Now, most people are smarter than me and knew to take the story away from their blog posts so they don't get fired. But that's another story altogether, isn't it? But there is an importance out there to getting that story out there. And from what I just said, a little spoiler alert here. As far as being viewed as someone who's a leader, whether it be a tech leader or a team leader, it doesn't matter. Think of the people that you look up to. What do they usually do? What are they known for? They're usually known for sharing their ideas. They're usually known for writing them down. So the sooner you get into the practice of doing that, the sooner people are going to think of you the exact same way. Now, that's a side benefit. And like I said, we'll talk about that in number 3 a little bit. But what I do want to let you know is that there is a very huge importance to your team and those around you to know what you know. And it's not just as simple as them not bothering you, although that is a pretty big benefit. I think of all the stories I've heard from folks just like you over the years, people that I've coached, people that have just reached out to me, people that I've had conversations with at events. They all say similar things. I can't ever get away. I can't ever take a vacation. So many stories of people that are at a hotel room, literally working through a problem on Slack or whatever it is, or sometimes just being the one who's on the phone with a customer while their family is at the pool, wondering where they are. When are they going to be part of the vacation? When you are realizing that you can't unplug from your office, when you're always checking your phone to see if there's another message you need to be worried about, when your spouse is wondering when they're going to get their spouse back. These are real challenges here. These are not just pie in the sky notions that, oh, DJ is just some know it all. This is life, y'all. And we need to do something if we're going to fix this, right? So, like I said, the first thing that is really comes to mind on this, the very first thing is that documentation process. People will have the ability to know what you know. They'll know the story behind this. Now, there's another thing that comes up all the time with this, and it is the the consultant asking the questions kind of a thing. And that is, I kind of touched on that a little bit earlier, but the whole, okay, let's fast forward 5 years from now. Okay, why was this system deployed? I don't remember, or how it was deployed. I think we did this. I think that. Here's the thing: as much as we think we're going to remember details correctly, if we don't write them down, what is going to happen is life is going to happen. Other things are going to start to take up those spaces in our brain. We're going to associate things incorrectly. We'll sometimes make changes and not realize that those have been done. We will sometimes have intentions or best practices that need to be followed that we wrote about, why we needed to vary from those. And so a consultant comes in and says, well, the best practice is to do this. Why isn't this done this way? And if you don't know how to answer that, you might cause the same problem that you fixed earlier without realizing it. And worse, honestly, I tell people this a lot of times when I'm doing coaching with them to see what careers they should be getting into and next steps. This is something I tell them all the time is like, if you're looking to move on, the best gift you can give someone that you're working with now is the documentation of what you've done, so that 5 years from now, when you're gone, you've moved on, they have something they can reference when that consulting comes knocking. This guy. Can you tell this is something I've been dealing with for years? All those years of working with Citrus Consulting and some of the other companies that I worked with, this was a most common challenge that I found is that I was there to discover what their environment was like. Their company was spending a lot of money to have me there to discover what was already there. Do you hear that? They were spending a lot of money for DJ to come on site with a team and go through everything that was already there and document what was there. Now, do you hear another why here? Do you hear another way that this kind of makes some sense? The people that learn how to document well and discover well and write things down in a way that's a good story get paid more. When I started doing consulting work, I quadrupled my income. Quadrupled my income. And it wasn't because I knew the technology. It was because I figured out how to do these kind of things, how to do documentation. And I did it well enough that they started asking me to train others to do that. And that is what I'm going to talk about in today's sponsor, which is me. I did a documentation workshop in 2023, And the replay of that has been available for some time. And I will be honest with you, I sometimes forget to tell people about it. So I'm telling you about it. And I'm not just telling you about it, I'm going to give you a little gift. So the documentation workshop is basically now in a self-paced format where you can actually go through and yeah, there we go. So you can actually go through this process along with me as it was live in a half day workshop, but it's now split up into a lot of a self-paced kind of a way. And so you'll have a module on getting the right types of written documentation down. You'll get a module on note taking and noting key things like risks and recommendations that management wants to see. You'll have a access to a spreadsheet template that I use when I'm doing documentation. You'll have access to my full written documentation template library that includes the very templates that I've been handing out and training people on since 2013, with some tweaks, obviously. But it's a deep dive into that architect level documentation that you'll see there, and it's really just meant to be an example, something you'll be able to take as that template and make your own. And and then we'll talk a little bit about collaboration, the editing process, peer reviews, and important things like that. So this is not just something where you're just learning how to write something. This is a process that will take you to that next level of professionalism in your career. And so for my podcast listeners, just like yourself, you have a very special opportunity. And that is if you go to thrive-it.com slash IT doc shop, that's ITDOCSHOP. So thrive-it.com slash ITDOCSHOP. You get it. Click on the enroll course button. You'll find two different things there. You'll see a thing that says permanent access and a split payment. What I want you to do is click on the permanent access, which is normally $497 US. If you click on that, I'm going to have you enter a special code that's available from now until March of 2025. And that code is HTDOC75. HTDOC75. What that's going to do is take 75% off of this course. 75% off of that course. Normally that's depending on taxes and such like that, it's $124.25. So down from $497 just because you were here listening to me today. This is my gift to you. I want you to be successful. And so you are going to get access to all these things. So just go to thrive-it.com slash ITDocShop. Enter the coupon code HTDoc75. We got access to this workshop. But wait, there's more. I will be redoing this workshop again in 2025 in around March. That's why it expires in March. So get in before then so that you can have full access to that workshop. I might be increasing the cost is the reason I say this. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But honestly, this is something where I want to give you that gift of not only the current workshop, but all the workshops that follow it. So if I ever do any updates to this, if you ever have any new templates or new trainings that I insert, you'll get access to that. Oh, and you'll also get a certificate of completion so that you can actually tell your boss that you did it. You justify the time and the investment that you've made. So hope to see you there. And like I said, we'll be updating this with a very exciting example in hopefully March of next year, where we're going to be actually taking the story that I'm writing, the book that I'm writing, and use that as an example of some documentation efforts that are going on there. So there'll be an actual story that we can go through together, and I'm looking forward to that enhancement. So that'll be in March. So looking forward to that. So thank you for your time on that and your consideration. And let's get back to the show. All right. So the second thing we're going to talk about today, number 2, is cross-training. Now, documentation is one thing, But there is a methodology to cross training that I think is being missed. And I'm saying this from that perspective of a lot of people that I've seen in their day-to-day lives. And when I ask them about their systems and I'm trying to document them as a consultant or whatever that looks like, especially deploying new systems, I'm finding this a lot, is that they have been told by their company that they're the ones that need to know this. And their company has expectations that that's just going to somehow magically spread. Now, fortunately, a lot of companies that I've worked with have been open to the idea of saying, let's at least having someone there to shadow at a minimum to see what's been going on so that there's coverage for what we're doing and further understanding. That's usually in deployments that that's true, but this is a lot of one of those opportunities that gets missed a lot is when you just do the thing and the other person's just watching you do the thing. Well, I can guarantee you, as I'm recording this right now, and this is being broadcast live as I'm recording it, someone out there is drifting off. They're checking their phone. They're doing other things. They're not truly paying attention to me. What I've seen, quite literally, is in a conference room, we're going over things, and I just kind of notice some quietness from the other side, and then all of a sudden, snoring. This has literally happened to me where they have put somebody in the room to learn the stuff, and they just fall asleep because they're not engaged. And the worst part about this probably is that our minds simply don't work like that. So when it comes to cross training, and this is especially true of repetitive tasks, if you are a system administrator and you want to pass your knowledge on to someone else to be able to not be on call that night and not get a call that night, or somebody else actually knows how to do things, cross training is very important. But I want you to catch this. It's important not just to show them, it's important to let them fight through it. It's important to just be over their shoulder while they do it. And this is something I cannot believe how often this gets missed. But that is absolutely critical if you want to be successful in being able to be on vacation like ever. Someone else needs to know what you do well enough to do it on their own. They don't need to just know what you do and try to figure it out. They need to be able to do it as well as you can when it calls for it. And again, we're going to be talking about some other stuff with this that falls into this. But what this means is you need to be willing to let other people make mistakes. This is fresh in my mind because it's something that I put into my story, because a lot of these things that I'm seeing so often, I'm spoiler alert for those let's give some inside track into this story I'm writing. It's called Outage. It's a story of a hospital system that is experiencing some drama in their IT department, and they're having outages and things like that. And this is kind of them working through how that's done. And so it's an actual story. It's a fable, and it's centers around a man named Andrew that is trying to figure this all out and is being kind of guided along a path by a mentor that is kind of a coach, I guess you could say, and is being guided along this path, but he has to figure things out on his own. He's not like I say all the time, I'm your guide, not your ride. So a friend of mine gave that to me and I just took it. So it's a story of that. But one of the things that he has to learn is that he has to be able to hand off tasks to others. And for people that are been at the technology for a while, know their stuff, and their boss tells them to lead the team, this is a very common thing that I hear about. That's why I'm bringing this up, actually. This is why this is even being discussed right now, is because there are so many people out there that struggle with this when they've been asked to lead a team, and their workload just increases dramatically because they're doing everybody else's work for them. That's where you have to be willing to let other people make mistakes. And hopefully you have a good enough relationship with your management to realize that this is something that needs to be intentional. That you need to be able to say, this is going to take some more time because I'm cross-training this person. And if they're wise as a company, they will get it. They will get it that these kind of appropriate cross-trainings make sense. Now, I'm going to preface this, and this is something I debated on whether to get into, but I think I'm going to give you at least this preview of this. That I believe that people have natural talents and abilities that make them good at certain things. There are those that I've known that just love documentation, like we're talking about earlier. There are those that love teaching, like what I'm talking about with cross training and whatnot. And then there are those that really love just diving in and being effective and finding new ways to do stuff, right? So the challenge with some of that is that you don't want to force someone to be cross trained on something that is administrative when their gifts are more in like leadership kind of things, where they're more of somebody who likes to coordinate. You know, teaching them on all the little stuff that needs to be it needs to be done can take away from their ability to do that. I've been in a couple of cool scenarios, and I'm not going to say it by name, but it was actually healthcare. It's been kind of the majority of my career actually is healthcare. But the reality was that they had some nuances to their team, and one of their team members was just really naturally documented things and got clarity, got information from people. It's like, okay, you said this, and he would repeat it back to them and make sure it was clear, and they would write it down. He was the best person to have in meetings because he always had things down. And so what I saw though was every now and then they were attempting to make him do administrative work, and I'm like, hold up. You've got a world class engineer on your hands, and you're making him do administrative work. And so sometimes, as a team leader, you will have to kind of divvy up those kind of virtual responsibilities a little bit more, or at least how they lean. Work with your management to determine, what their tolerance is for that. But the challenge there is in allocation of resources. And so if you find that you're trying to cross train someone and they are really struggling to get it, there might be other things that they should be doing instead of that particular task you're training them on. And so there might be some other things that they can excel at to relieve the pressure on you in those ways. And so if you're seeing somebody who's really struggling in an area, that's a good indicator that they are not naturally talented towards that. They're not passionate about it. But if you see somebody who is passionate about it, it's good to amplify that. It's good to do whatever you can to encourage growth in that area. We don't want to just rest on our laurels. I'm a person who believes that we've been literally created with talents and abilities that should be brought up and forward and not just left where they are. It's a good gift, but a gift is only good if you use it right and improve on it. So that's the way those work. So really quick before we go into number 3, I want to do the resource of the week.
Variety brings the heat, something new every week. Get ready to click and see something awesome for you and me. Resource of the week. Oh yeah, resource of the week. What will it be next week? Get ready to take a peek. Resource of the week.
All right, enough of that. Let me tell you about Camtasia and Snagit. These are tools that I use when I'm doing systems documentation, especially when I'm doing things that are documenting a system as I'm creating it and want to make that documentation available. That these are tools that I can use to either do video or screenshots or both. And so this is a tool set that I've been recommending for, oh my gosh, over a decade now, I believe. And so, and I, like I said, this is something that I use. I wanted to give you this as a resource, and I've given it before, but I wanted to bring it up. It's more appropriate today than I think it was the last time I did it. And so, if you are tasking yourself or others with, this kind of thing, you can just go to thrive-it.com/techsmith. That's thrive-it.com/techsmith. And you will be guided then to a page where you can sign up for those products. And if you do, a lot of times I will be compensated for that, but your price will not change. That's the affiliate relationship that exists there. But I do encourage you to check out those products and have your boss check them out, even if they want to buy them for your team. Great resource. That's your resource of the week. All right, let's dive into part three. So, number three, intentionality. And we talked a little bit about this. I've already kind of given you some clues on this. But what I want to address here is one of the common things I'm seeing in times that I'm doing consulting work and coaching, even, and all these things that are impacting teams negatively, that are basically making them not able to be effective. And that is this scarcity thinking. There is a notion of, I hate to say it this way, but an overblown importance of who you are, and that your self-worth is basically made up from what you know, and what you know makes you powerful, and what you know gives you power to be able to be staying where you are or choose to leave if you like. I've heard things like, oh, if they only knew what I know, or without me this place would burn to the ground. My friend, you are only harming yourself with that kind of that scarcity thinking, that there's just never going to be anything better. This is what it's going to be. I can never achieve more. I need to hold on to everything I have. Hold on for dear life. That kind of thinking will never get you to a point of being able to thrive. It will only get you as far as you've gone, or worse, as far as you will be dragged along towards. The people that are voluntold are voluntold because nobody volunteered. And eventually it's going to be you. And eventually you're going to have to learn new things. And when you do, if you do not do the things we're talking about today, if you hold on to them as if you're the only person that could possibly know it, all you do is harm yourself. All you do is make it so that you are never able to take a vacation, that you're always the person that's bothered. In the book, The Phoenix Project, this is the character Brent, who is very smart, very intelligent, but is utterly miserable because everyone is always sidelining him. Managers are always coming by and asking him to do stuff because he's known as the guy who can get stuff done. Well, the problem is he doesn't ever get everything done. He just gets little stuff done. And that does not move the company forward. And so there is a process that they have to adopt of saying, forcing others to learn. This is kind of an anti-fragile concept that may be too advanced for a podcast like this, but we're going to power through it anyway. I say a lot that you will not rise to the occasion. You only rise to your level of preparedness. This is why these kind of things are important, is because you have to have a mindset of making your team prepared to handle challenges, because the challenges are going to come. This is universally true in information technology. We know this. All it takes is one little piece of code, and half of the world's servers are down. We know this. Yet, we seem to somehow in our actions think that it's not going to happen to us. Or, and I think this is possibly even worse, there's this notion that we don't have the time to do it, or I don't like doing it, so you find other things to do instead. That sets up patterns of your life that will impact you outside of just your job. These are the kind of things that, sorry, a friend of mine, when he passed away, his wife was left with, oh wow, he did everything. What do I do now? How do I do this? And she got through it, but and the reality was he wrote a lot of stuff down, but he just did a lot to serve her. His love language was definitely acts of service. That's why I liked him so much. But Dan, when he passed along, there was a big gap there, and his wife Joanne had to suddenly figure things out and how to be a different person. And it was because there's a lot of things that just weren't thought about, that were not written down. But here's the good news: the overwhelming majority of things were. The overwhelming majority of things that were going on in their lives were covered by other people. There were systems. There was what I call, well, I don't call it. Other people call it SOPs, or standard operating procedures. These are the kind of things that will help you um, be successful. Now, I have the similar thing going on in my life. Where I've been thinking about, I need to just write down certain things that so my wife has it available. Um, we can talk about another tool another time that I use called Dashlane. It's a password tool, but there is also a lot of things like secure notes in there, and you can share this with your significant other, or there's even a system there of survivability, so that if you both pass away, you can specify someone else who will have access to that library. It's a cool feature, and if I think about it, I'll try and include the link. I think it's just thrive-it.com/dashlane. I think. We'll find out. Feel free to try that out. But anyway, so the point here is that I'm doing this because it's me showing my love and affection for her, knowing that things do happen, and I don't want her to have to figure everything out, because my life is pretty complex. And so the more I write down, the more I keep updated. This is not just repetitive tasks. In fact, I would say a lot of this is more important for non-repetitive tasks. Um, so consider that. Consider that as a potential for getting out of that scarcity thinking that you're only going to get as good as you've gotten. There's one other thing that I want to talk about with that, and that is that intentionality of leadership. And that is, again, especially if you lead an IT team, this is absolutely critical. And that is setting aside time for documentation, and setting aside time for cross training, and setting aside time for the kind of conversations that you need to have for organizing yourself, you know. And what I always tell my leaders that I'm coaching is to learn the phrase, cover me, I'm going in. Okay, well, I'm going to have to be doing this. I have to do some documentation work. So cover me, I'm going in. What that means is you have to set aside time for it. I encourage mostly Fridays, but it can vary. But having a block of time on your calendar that is non-negotiable, that is for catching up on system documentation, for literally journaling the things that have happened in the week, and looking at KPIs and most important numbers. All those kind of things need to be done. And I encourage all staff to be doing this. I think the teams that I've seen that are the strongest are the teams that have a regular practice of everyone writing down their wins for the week, the things they're challenged with, the things they need to follow up with. So much so that I'm working with a gentleman that I'm hoping to have on the podcast very soon on a planner system for that, where we can actually track those kind of things as a team. And so that is something that I'm actively working on. Actively, maybe actively is the wrong word. That I am working on in the background. But the idea here is that you need to have coverage of your time while you're doing it. Your team needs to know that that is unavailable time. In other words, if you had 50 hours you were working, you know, I hope you can get it down to 40, but let's be realistic. Sometimes it's more like 45 or 50. If that is the amount of time that you're working that week, you need to be able to spend like 5 or 6 hours of that time in these kind of processes, in documentation, in cross training, in kind of leadership enablement and talent, not acquisition. Talent acquisition is something else. Into talent enablement and enhancement. There we go. Talent enhancement. So these are the kind of things that you need to be intentional about and set aside systems, because again, things are going to happen. And so if you don't have coverage for that, then that becomes a challenge and you'll just continue falling behind. But here's the good news: investments in those kind of things pay themselves forward. And I have seen in every single department that I've seen this happen in, that their workload stays pretty much the same or increases, but the amount of time that they spend working on these things decreases. One of these times very soon, I want to talk about unplanned work and the impacts of that on a team. Not time for that today, but that is something that we need to talk about as well. But the way to combat that, just to let you know, is by having good processes in place, by having good cross training, by having good documentation of systems and things like that, so that when comes time to deal with a crisis, you don't have more crises coming up because you have that unplanned work that is taking you away from that. It's a whole dance concept. It'll be in the book. um, but yeah, that's something that is really tough to get around, but not impossible at all. In fact, highly encourage it to do just that. Awesome stuff. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you, and I do want to let you know that our seasonal sponsor for the actually this is one of the last episodes that'll be this season. So woohoo! Uh, I am the sponsor of this podcast for this first season, and you can get my book "Just Do This" at my cost. So my cost of printing and shipping, you cover that, and then if you want to do anything more on top of that, you're able to do that. All I ask is that you just answer uh, one key question. There might be some other questions that I will be asking from time to time. So if you go to thrive-it.com/current survey, then that'll take you to the latest survey. So it's thrive-it.com/survey. And from there, you'll be able to go through a process of answering some quick questions, or in the current case, is just one single question. Really is looking at what's most important to you right now, and it helps us formulate content like I just did. This actually came from one of these questions. This episode came from a survey question. So somebody was saying, I feel like I can't ever get a break. I'm always on. I can't ever take a vacation, and so that was the challenge that was brought up. And now we have this whole podcast episode helping that out with. And I want to do the same for you. So if you have a big challenge, let me know. And that's a gift to me to be able to do that. And so that helps me create content that's actually meaningful, which means a lot to me. And so my gift to you is a copy of my book, Just Do This, which outlines my risk less methodology. What I always tell people is that the problem in tech is not what you know about tech. It's your methods that you apply this stuff to, which is a lot of things we talk about with methodology, like we're talking about today. And so we talk about four phases that a typical IT cycle goes through. And it's not just IT. A lot of life goes through this cycle of understand, plan, change, and maintain. And so you learn a lot more about that, but you learn at whatever cost is fair. If you want to give me $100 for the book, feel free. The link that'll come up will let you do that. But all I ask is that you cover the cost of printing and shipping, and the book is yours. I'm not worried about making a profit off of this. But if you want to help me out in doing things like I'm doing today, great. So just go to thrive-it.com/current survey to be able to take care of that. So I do thank you for being with me here today. And yeah, we'll see you next time on How to Thrive in IT. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being with me here today. Wanted to let you know if you have any questions, now's a great time to put those into the comments or chat. And hopefully I see them live. If not, I will certainly uh, yeah, do my best to answer them here, or just do them later if I catch them later. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to bring those up now, and we'll just yeah, do that as a service to you. If you have any things that are going on in your your situation that you know like some clarity on. This is a great opportunity for that. And meanwhile, I'm going to get set up for our live session, which is always a lot of fun, of actually creating a song for this episode. And so I'm going to set that up while I'm waiting for any comments, and go to Suno. Yes. Okay. Let's do this. And if anybody has any questions, I'll interrupt here. But one other thing that I do want to know in the chat is why is that still there? Oh, come on now. There we go. One thing I do want to know in the chat is a style of music that you think would fit today's theme. And so what we're going to do here is replace and Suno with the sound. There we go. Maybe. Huh. Ah, there we go. So, Suno.com is I think you thrive-it.com/Suno. Did I have that up? No. Dang it. Okay. Let me add that here real quick. Thrive, Suno. Well, let's see if that works. There we go. You want to try this out? They have version 4. I don't know if they're still doing their little promotion on this, but you never know. So anyway, we're gonna. I'm actually not going to get custom today. I'm going to just do a song description here, and we're just going to have them have the AI generate lyrics. This is actually the first time I'm using version 4 to generate lyrics. So we will say, let's see. Hopefully, I've got a suggestion. So I'm drawing a blank. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. I thought. Switch over to that here. Oh yeah, look at that. That's not good. I will fix that in the. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to while we're generating the song, while it's playing, I will actually fix that. I don't know what happened with my link there. Unless, oh, wait a minute. Is it the slash survey? And I just am. Yeah. I gave a wrong link. It should be thrive-it.com/survey. The other way to do it is care.thrive-it.com/current survey, but that's not going to be there forever. I'm going to be moving that for a different system. So that's why so it's thrive-it.com/survey. Well, that's fun. I need to fix that then. Because I think yeah. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know about that. Where did the world? Huh. Yeah, okay. I think the QR code might have worked to get you to the right place. But I'm wondering about that too. I'm actually seeing some weirdness there. Yep, it is broken. It's not a firewall thing. It is a DJ needs to fix that. Lovely. It's always something. Anyway, if you have a favorite style of music that you think would be a great fit for today's episode, I will be typing up some show notes here as we go along. So, song about woes. Wow. In IT services work where you can't get a break, can't take a vacation, and everything is always behind. The fix is K-pop. I like it. I don't think I've tried that yet. Learning documentation and training others in what you do. All right. I cannot wait to hear this. K-pop, as I have never even attempted that with Suno before. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. So I've been working on an intro jingle to Thrive Acti. Wow, that's generating.
Feeling hopeless, technology just something you're roped in. We got words for you, give you a whole new attitude. Wisdom from the trenches, seeing past your fences. This is how to thrive in IT.
I like this one better.
You may be tired, feeling hopeless, technology just something you're roped in. We've got words for you, give you a whole new attitude. Wisdom from the trenches, seeing past your fences. This is how to thrive in IT.
So yeah, look for a new theme song coming soon to a podcast near you. All right, let's see which of these. let's see with a day without rest.
I got a ticket to nowhere, swamped in a sea of cold.
It always thinks of code.
Dreaming of a break I can't declare, under tasks heavy load. Emails stacked like mountains high, can't remember the last sunset. Missed vacations waving goodbye, chasing deadlines without a net. No breaks, no peace, no paradise, running through the endless night. But hey, now I'll make it right. Train the team and share the light. recycle, never learn.
So either.
Quick fixes and patches thin, band-aids on a broken plan. Time to pull the dots within, teach the team and lend a hand. No breaks, no peace, no paradise, running through the endless night. But hey, now I'll make it right. Train the team and share the light.
I can't do it.
I got a ticket to nowhere, swamped in a sea of code, dreaming of a break I can't declare, under tasks heavy load. Emails stack like mountains high, can remember the last sunset. Miss vacations, waving goodbye, chasing deadlines without a
I agree.
net.
This is boring. I mean, it's meant to be kind of woeful, but at the same time, it's just like that's the irony of this, right? So let's see. Let's add some other adjectives. So, um, oh, I'm out of characters. Let's see. Well, here's what we can do. We can do custom. I can actually copy these lyrics. I'm. Let's see. There's a way to do that. Just literally just copy. Yeah. All right. So it always wants to rhyme code with load anytime I do anything that's IT related. Um, it's that live coming up with stuff that's always fun. Let's see. Or I'm working with burden because that just drives me crazy. Most of us don't, yeah, get lost in code, that sort of thing. It's not really our thing. Um, but it's cool. It's too much like the AI is trying to talk to us there. But this is actually really this nails it. That's really that's really good. So okay, let's try this again. Okay, pop. Edgy. We'll try flashy. I don't know if it's actually going to get that, but let's see what happens when we do this. And we'll call this document or die. All right, let's. This is always just the fun part, and I'm still in the background. I'm still working on the survey thing. It is just hard broken, and that does not make my day better for sure. Let's see what this came up with for.
I got a ticket to nowhere, swamped in a sea of working, dreaming week I can't declare. Under tasks, heavy burden. Emails stack like mountains high. Can't remember the last sunset. Missed vacations, waving goodbye. Chasing deadlines without a net. No breaks, no peace, no paradise. Running through the endless night. But hey now, I'll make it right. Train the team and share the light. Calls coming at 2 a.m. Servers crash and burn. Can't recall where my day began. In this cycle, never learn. Quick fixes and patches thin. Band-aids on a broken plan. Time to pull the docs within. Teach the team and lend a hand. No breaks, no peace, no paradise. Running through the endless night. But hey now, I'll make it right. Train the team and share the light. No breaks, no peace, no paradise. Running through the endless night. But hey now, I'll make it right.
That is what it is.
Train the team and share the light.
Okay. Not what I was expecting either. I like it better than the other stuff. Number two.
I got a ticket to nowhere. Swamped in a sea of working. Dreaming of a break I can't declare. Under tasks, heavy burden. Emails stack like mountains high. Can't remember the last sunset. Missed vacations, waving goodbye. Chasing deadlines without a net. No breaks, no peace, no paradise. Running through the endless night. But hey now, I'll make it right. Train the team and share the light. Calls come in at 2 a.m. Servers crash and burn. Can't recall where my day began. In this cycle, never learn. Quick fixes and patches thin. Band-aids on a broken plan. Time to pull the docs within. Teach the team and lend a hand. No breaks, no peace, no paradise. Running through the endless night. But hey now, I'll make it right. Train the team and share the light. Quick fixes and patches thin. Band-aids on a broken plan. Time to pull the docs within. Teach the team and lend a hand. No breaks, no peace, no paradise. Running through the endless night. But hey now, I'll make it right. Train the team and share the light.
Yeah. Yeah. I might have to just give up on this one. There's Yeah. What I'll probably do is go on their Discord and see what what they suggest. There's a pretty helpful community over there, so it's not impossible to find that help. But of one and two, I kind of leaning towards two. If we go with that, we'll see. Might have to just chalk this one up to a learning experience, and yeah, I'm so distracted by the survey not working thing. Jeez, it's always something with these kind of things. This is the problem with doing this on my own. Is that it's a challenge, but so in any case, let me know what you like, one or two better. Feel free to go back and re-listen to this episode and let me know. And if I find a better way to do it, I will. Awesome. Well, I tell you what, everybody, thanks for being with me here live today. And for those of you that are viewing after the fact, thanks for being here as well. And let you know, final thing is I am working on an actual launch date for the podcast. I haven't done a formal, I've kind of announced it and things like that, but I'm kind of getting the backlog of episodes to edit and get going on a regular cadence. Um, yeah. So I am like a mentor of mine once told me, pioneers get shot, settlers get rich. So happy to be the pioneer for you, so that you can become rich by my efforts. Yes. Awesome stuff. Well, thanks everybody for being here. And like I said, do go ahead and start sharing about the podcast. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, I'm still seeing some challenges with, I think it's Spotify, that it's not showing up in searches yet. So I don't know if we just need to encourage more people to listen to it there, or what. But all the other platforms seem to be working. Apple is rock solid. There's a couple others that are I didn't even expect to be possible, that just kind of picked it up anyway. I don't know if they just kind of just grab it off of Apple. Or I don't know what they do, but there's a lot of aggregators out there that I didn't even know existed, that are doing this. And then also the iHeartRadio has picked us up, and I'm trying to think of the other ones. Apple Podcasts, Amazon, YouTube. Love to know any other places that if you don't see the How to Thrive in IT podcast in an aggregator that you use, please let me know, so I can get it up there. But it's pretty widely publicized at this point, and we're currently at about 50 downloads per episode, which is not bad for not doing any kind of promotions. So feel free to share it so we can make this grow and make this worth our our time and rather significant investment in time. So I do appreciate all the feedback and help, and I will endeavor to get the survey up and running, possibly by the end of the day. This is actually kind of a crucial thing for me coming up, so I need this to be working. So I need to figure out why it's not. So I'm going to end up contacting their support, most likely, making this somebody else's problem, I hope. So awesome. Well, thanks for being with me here today, and we will see you again next week. I do plan on recording at the same time. It's just kind of becoming a Tuesday thing for me. So I'm just going to plan on doing that again. So thanks for being with me, and I'll see you again, hopefully next week, 9:30 Central Time. Cheers, everybody. Have a great one.